So I'm fasting a guy now via Skype who is currently on day 6, I believe, and he has not had a bowel movement since his last meal. Okay? Had he followed my directions the whole time, this wouldn't have happened, but he didn't. Now he is, but it took him 4 days to realize that maybe I knew what I was talking about. So he's got something that's stuck, okay? One of the things you can do to help it be less stuck is to be in the proper position. Ironically, someone I know recently posted something on Facebook. I think he was in Japan, and in a public bathroom in Japan, there was a diagram that showed how to use the toilet. And what it showed, the correct was sitting down. Incorrect was standing on the toilet on your feet. Okay, and there was another way. You're not supposed to do it. Maybe head first, I don't know. But if we lived in the forest, okay, in nature, and you needed to eliminate, what would you do? This is the natural position. Okay, this is the way to eliminate. When you sit down, this is going to be a little hard to do here because there isn't much room. But if I come forward a little bit, to go from squatting to sitting, watch what has to happen. What's happening to my pelvis? It's rotating forward. Okay? By the time I get to a sitting position, it's considerably rotated forward. Notice, that's true even though my feet are still up. Putting your feet up doesn't change the angle of your pelvis. Sitting on a toilet with your feet on top of something doesn't change this significantly. Tiny bit. Okay? It's not doing a lot. You really need to be on your feet because that's the only thing that changes it. When you're on your feet, now you've changed the angle. Now there's a straight exit path. As soon as you sit down, you create a bend at the end of your colon, whether your feet are up or not.
So
does this make sense?
Strong enough? Is it okay if we...
I hope so.
Okay. Well, I just...
It'll be strong enough for you.
Okay.
It'll be strong enough for you. It may well be that people above a certain amount, I mean, when you're sitting down with your feet on the floor, you're probably taking some of the weight on your feet. And this is what they're concerned about. Now, we don't usually have a problem, but to be honest with you, most people above a certain weight can't squat anyway because there's flexibility issues. Okay? In order for this to work, you have to be able to squat with your feet flat. Right? If you don't have the flexibility in your Achilles tendons back here, then you're going to be like this. And if you're like this, this requires strength and balance to maintain. It's not very comfortable. Okay? You're not going to want to stay here for very long. If you can get your feet flat and right on the toilet seat, I could stay here forever. I've given seminars this way. Yeah, there's a hole in the floor. In lots of places in Asia, this is how it is. This is the natural position. I mean, I've had people say, why don't you do that here? We have a lot of people that can't squat.
Well, it's the same for birthing a baby, too.
Of course, absolutely. It's exactly the same for birthing a baby. Okay, lying on your back with your feet up in the air isn't for you or the baby, it's for the male doctor. It's for his convenience. Obviously, the easiest way to get a small object through a large object through a small opening is to allow gravity to help you. Okay, women, you should be squatting to deliver a baby. You ever see Dances with Wolves? There's a scene where there's a Native American. You should see this. It's a landmark movie because it's one of the few movies that Kevin Costner appears in and doesn't ruin. I'm sure he's a nice guy. It's just a shame he can't act. Hey, we all have our opinions. That's my opinion. There's a scene in this movie where there's a Native American woman squatting, leaning up against a tree. Okay, I mean this is what would happen in nature. Okay, if we didn't have hospitals and doctors, women would be squatting because it's a lot easier this way. All right, it's a lot easier to eliminate too. In fact, I'll tell you, when I figured this out about nearly 30 years ago, I've been sitting down most of my life, 28 years ago. I've been sitting down for 30 years, right? And I thought, hang on, this isn't natural, right? I had this idea, it occurred to me a long time ago. What I need to do is figure out what's natural for my body. We're not going to improve on nature. So my diet is, as what I believe is what's natural for the body. I believe, I don't do this, but I believe we should be sleeping based on what's natural for our bodies here in the tropics. We're tropical animals, right? What's natural to eliminate? Squatting. So I started doing it. But I would forget. So I'd go into the bathroom and I'd sit down on the toilet and I'd eliminate. And then when I felt like I was done, I'd get up on my feet and I'd always eliminate more. At the beginning when I was getting my body clean. Now, honestly, eating the way I eat, the clean system, I can usually eliminate whether I sit down or squat. If I haven't gotten enough sleep and I stumble into the bathroom at 5 o'clock in the morning when I wake up, I might sit down because I'm tired. Okay. Normally, if I think about it, like, I'll just get on my feet. It's easy. It's no big deal. Okay. It's comfortable here. This is a completely balanced position. It takes no strength, takes no balance. It just takes flexibility. You need flexibility in your knees, in your hips, and in your groins and in your Achilles tendons. And if you don't have it in those 4 places, this is going to be difficult to do. So if you don't have it, what you might want to do is start squatting on the floor where you can't fall too far. Okay? If you fall, you're not going to hurt yourself. And you can take a rolled up yoga mat or your flip-flops or something, stick them under your heels wherever you need to support yourself. And then every day, every couple days, remove a little bit so you're going a little lower, gently stretching. Okay, it's just stretching out those tendons. Okay, a healthy, and by the way, what do you think happens as we get more hydrated? What happens to our tendons? More flexible. Okay? So it's a lot easier to do. You don't have to work at this. I started practicing yoga more than 38 years ago. And I practice religiously. Christmas, Easter, Halloween, the important holidays. That's it. Okay, I don't do that much anymore. I just don't have time. But I stay pretty flexible. That's hydration. Okay, I used to have to work at it, not anymore. Not being hydrated. All right, so if you've got enough going on in your belly, gas, gurgling, movement, you might want to try squatting on the toilet if you're able to. Okay? People sometimes eliminate while fasting when they didn't think they needed to. If there's enough going on, it's worth trying. Okay? Questions about that?
Just about the squatty potty, you're saying that I imagine that just helps a bit?
It may help a little bit. One of the things it does, it eliminates any pressure on the back of your legs, which some people believe can help cause varicose veins. Probably more of an issue for people that are smaller, because if you're smaller, when you sit on the toilet, you got more pressure on your legs. You and I, and probably other people here, back of my legs don't touch the toilet, because the height from here to here is higher than the toilet seat, right? But if you're shorter than that, then when you sit down, you've got the weight of your lower legs, and you've got this pressure on the back of your legs here, on a hard toilet seat. So some people think that that pressure and any straining at all that's happening partially causes varicose veins. Having your feet up eliminates that. But it doesn't really change the angle of your pelvis, and so I don't think it has any significant impact, maybe some, but no real significant impact on your ability to eliminate. Okay, squatting makes an enormous difference. He's saying that he uses the toilet, he squats on the toilet, but when he does, he's got pain in his knees. But he also does, ¿cuánto? 50? He does between 30 and 50 kilometers on a bicycle every day. And is saying, is it possible that it's the bicycle, not the squatting? It's possible that you don't have the flexibility in your knees to do this. And so it's painful. And it might be that all the cycling is harming the knees or damaging the knees or stressing them too much. Again, every human being should be able to squat. This is a natural position. When I lived in Panama, we lived on top of a mountain, same elevation, and there were 4 little villages on the way up, and there were no bus stops. So people, even people in their 70s and 80s, would wait for the bus by the side of the road, squatting on the road. I mean, a lot of these people didn't have any furniture in their house. That's what they would do all the time.